Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
Hello and welcome to the Midweek podcast. That's what we like to call it. This is Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio, Emily, Gareth. You can put a bit of the audio you like.
Hi.
Don't do that. Don't like
Okay.
it. This is something that we do every midweek, and it's free. I'm trying to think of a way of really selling it, but, I can't.
It hasn't succeeded.
Oh, it has?
Okay.
We've had emails, actually, based on stuff in the Midweek podcast.
Absolutely.
Par exemple.
From Hanley Quintrell.
What?
Hanley Quintrell.
Hanley Quintrell III, some sort of American millionaire in spectacles and a bow tie.
Oh, he'd be nice for me. Like a Daddy Warbucks figure in my
Yeah.
life.
And maybe I'll forget. Go on.
Maybe Hanley Quintrell. How do you think
Maybe.
you pronounce that? I'm sure
Let's
it'll
call
tell
the
us.
whole thing Hanley.
He was listening to the Midweek podcast. Frank was likening swinging on crutches to a child swinging while holding hands with their parents.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and I thought this would interest you. I've a bum leg and walk with a cane most of the time.
That's not funny,
No,
Gareth.
it's not funny.
It's terrible.
But use crutches for exercise. All my friends think I'm insane, but I go crutch running.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, essentially, this involves swinging
He's
myself
not a louse,
forward.
is he?
I don't think so.
I had a few lice that used to go crotch running on a
Frank,
regular basis.
stop it.
I'm
Honestly.
terribly
Stop
sorry,
it.
everyone. Can we cut that?
Next-
Can we...
Next to your
Apparently we're live.
blackheads, that's the worst thing you've ever done.
Yes.
Essentially, this involves swinging myself forward on crutches and landing on my good leg very fast, and is the closest I can get to running. It's more fun than I remember running to be, and also has the added danger of not knowing when you'll fall over.
Oh.
I like the inevitability of
Yeah,
falling over.
it's definitely when, not if, he says.
Yeah, exactly.
There's also the added bonus of completely freaking out any other morning runners I pass by.
But if I saw a man on crutches running very, very quickly, I'd assume there's going to be a lion coming around the corner at any time, and it's something there's been some sort of trip with, for the sunshine, the Variety Club of Great Britain. It's all gone wrong. The cage door was left open, and he's probably the only one that's escaped. Is what I'd be assuming. What a great stuff! Good old Hanley.
I
Fancy
like
that.
Hanley
Yeah, thank you,
Quinn.
Hanley.
Jogging on crutches.
Quintrell.
Where's he from?
I don't know, but
So I
think
can
he
avoid
might,
that area
he
in
might
the
be
morning.
from America.
Oh, he's got to be from,
I think he
Wyoming
might
or
be from-
something.
yes.
He
With
might
a
be
name
from
like that.
America.
He listens to podcasts, and I get a vibe.
He'd have mentioned that, wouldn't he?
I've a bum leg. That's what I.
Do you think that's an American term?
don't know.
I've got a bum
Maybe.
leg. Maybe he's got a bomb leg.
Maybe a tramp's leg.
No,
I think he's got a leg from a tramp.
that operates in a similar way to a behind.
A bum. Some sort of tube.
Yeah, that'd be. Yeah, I don't like the sound of that. I've always I did my back in once, and they gave me a walking stick at the hospital. I must say, I thought I looked pretty good with a walking stick.
Yes, I can imagine it would suit
I thought
you.
if I have a major injury and need one of these, it won't be the end of the world, is what I thought. And I tell you what I liked. I sat outside a cafe with David Baddiel. Remember her? And we sat, and the way I sat, I was able to... I hold the walking stick in front of me. I was able to put my hands on top of the walking stick and rest my chin on my hands. It's really comfortable.
Oh.
It's great. I think I could sleep on a walking stick.
I'd go for a cane. Like a really
what's
nice...
like a bendy one?
There's a big difference.
Yeah.
I'd go for an Asprey cane with a silver skull on the top.
My problem with having a cane, you see, if you're talking about those springy bamboo canes, like what they used to have in schools, is I find that everyone else in London walks considerably slower than I do. If I had a cane constantly in my hand, I think I'd have to give them across the back of the legs. Because honestly, there's always somebody in my way.
You'd be a menace.
Walking, yeah, just a quick whoosh, and you'd be past. Because I thread through people like there's no tomorrow, and when you get to my age, there might not be. So
I'm often grateful I haven't got a gun with me, because I think if I carried a gun, you'd just be tempted to use it with situations that. Do you know what I mean?
well, I imagine it's like this if you're very, very hard. Because I've always been anti-violence, but I wonder sometimes if I'm anti-violence from a moral point of view, or if it's because I've got a torso not unlike a toast rack. And,
Oh, Frank.
yeah, and I think if I could hit people and get away with it and give people really,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about thrashing them within an inch of their lives. I probably would, because
Yeah.
some people, if they're in your way,
Yeah,
they deserve it.
Can I have some of that toast?
well, hold on, it's holding up my aorta.
You see, I have to say, guys, the three of us in a fight, my money would be on me. Have to be
Probably,
honest.
probably.
Yeah.
The claws will come out,
Oh, yeah.
biting, scratching, pulling hair.
It's funny you should say that.
That's my
because
technique.
There was there was nearly a fight this week between Courtney Love and.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
say this week. I suppose it was last week officially, but it's near enough in
Yeah.
human memory for us to discuss it. I mean, if you're not happy with that, just fast forward. You know, if everything has to be up to the minute. I mean, these people, they have no sense of history. Does that mean I can't discuss the relief of Maffa King? No, I thought not. Oh, no, you all want that. You just don't want Courtney Love and Lily Allen. Well, OK. Well, anyway, I was wondering, who do you think would win in a fight between Courtney Love and Willie Allen? Willie Allen? Willie Allen.
Lily,
That's
I
very
honestly thought Lily Allen had made a terrible mistake because Courtney
Yeah.
Love could, you know.
Oh, she's
completely
sinewy,
have
isn't
her.
she?
Yeah.
Do you
She'd be in
think that?
trouble.
But I think she's ravaged by various pastimes.
Lily has got an
And
favour. She's
I'm
got
not talking about chess here.
no, but Lily has got legs like little pistons.
She has got. She's got what I call prodigal son legs. You know, the fatted calves.
Oh, fine.
Yeah. And I feel she could leap like a flea. If one,
Yeah.
you know, well, I felt she had great bounding
If she got a
possibilities.
grip round Courtney Love's neck.
Well, I
with
thought
her
she could
thighs.
leap. She could leap onto, say, a balcony or a ledge of the building outside which they were fighting, and throw down masonry at Courtney. That's what I thought. Courtney, always looks to me like a person who smells. I've never met her. I don't mean smells terribly, but clammy. She looks clammy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I imagine that if one had a sheet of A4 paper and she had a backless dress on, you could pat her on the back. All right, Courtney, it's a stick. You wouldn't need any. Just,
I
you
think
could
she
put,
looks like
kick me.
she'd smell a bit like a sort of gerbil's cage or something.
Yes, I think a gerbil's cage.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what I'm not even going to try and top that. You've hit the nail on the head. But I wish it had come to a proper
Oh,
fight
I'd love a fight.
between them.
I like a girly fight. I don't have them so much these days, a physical fight.
No.
I've had a few in my time. Let's
Have you
not go
really?
down that road. But these
you really
days,
had a
people are
fight?
not so much into the fighting.
Yeah, have you really had physical fights in your time?
Well, I've pulled pigtails. When I was...
I have as well, but that was in Chinatown. I was drunk. I mean, I regret it now, looking back. They take some catching, I'll tell you that.
Well, do you know, we used to have, because I went to a private school here.
Oh, did you?
The fights were quite civilised and organised. So they'd say, Georgina's fighting Hermione at 3. And then...
What, was it some sort of announcement?
Emily has been challenged to a
You
duel.
went to a school where
Pistols
fights
at
were
dawn.
timetabled. Well, now I've heard everything.
Yeah.
Oh.
So everyone would go and watch. And they'd be like, fight, 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 fight.
Yeah.
And then Georgina would pull Hermione's pigtails, and then there'd be a little scuffle. And she'd go, mind my shoes. And that'd be it, really.
Yeah. I have to say, it sounds very exhilarating. I shall think of that when I'm alone. That fight. Well, I think my money would be on Lily.
Okay.
Because she's younger, for a start off. And as you say, she's...
Everyone's younger, honey.
Yes.
Oh.
She's solid, I think, Lily. And I also think she's a woman with tremendous inner rage. And if
she's got issues.
if that was unleashed, I think... I could imagine her, let's say, halfway up Big Ben, right, hanging by one of the gargoyles. And don't phone in. Just go with me. And holding the severed head of Courtney Love and screaming, yeah.
This is love!
Yeah.
This is love!
Yeah, exactly. And what about put a Chanel hat on this, she could say.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Of course, I've been wrong before.
Speaking
that
of
high-rise housing, I wish I'd never invented that. At first I was fated in the 60s. Oh, well done, Frank. It's great. They're like streets in the sky.
Yeah.
And then, there was all the stuff about overcrowding.
The
You could hear
backlash.
the neighbours and there wasn't enough room. I never
People
said I was going to
jumping.
build the playgrounds. I said I'll do the flats and then we'll be some recreational areas around. But I was let down by the council. But now I'm the bad guy.
You did well with the Sinclair C5, though.
Well... Yeah, it works all right as a door wedge. So you got frightened, didn't you, this week?
I did. I was staying in. I supported Rod Gilbert on tour in Wrexham.
Oh, that's a tough gig because he's a god in Wrexham.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good. They were friendly. He was on my side. And on the way back, I stayed in Milton Keynes to break up the journey back to London.
What are all these places? What's Wrexham?
What is a Wrexham? I stayed in I thought it'd been really good because I booked really the cheapest hotel I could possibly find. It was really, really cheap. And it was, yeah.
Hold on a minute. I just, Emily's fainted. Can someone get Emily a glass of water?
Just sort of fan her face a bit. She'll come to. And
don't smudge the makeup.
It was one of those hotels. I'd never been in one before. You know, in No Country for Old Men.
Oh yeah.
Like
I wasn't allowed in that.
Right. Surprised.
Oh.
You know, you go in from outside. You have to go outside and then into the doors, and the doors just open outside.
What on earth? How do you normally get into a hotel from underneath?
Usually it's a corridor. You know, a
strange
corridor.
hover rail.
Like you had to go outside of the door, and then so the doors to each room opened outside.
Like an American motel.
Like a motel.
Yeah,
like in Psycho.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly, like in Psycho. And so I was in there, and it was dreadful in there. It was really horrible. And I'm not, you know...
Oh, you do surprise me.
There are people that listening that couldn't afford to stay in a hotel, and they'll be thinking, well, you know, I'd give anything to have been in that room with you. Well, not with you, obviously. That would have been terrible in the extreme.
So I was lying there in the darkness, and there was...
They were there as well, then. I bet he hit some notes that night.
Justin Hawkins?
Yeah. He certainly was. Go on.
And there was a clicking sound.
Ooh.
Oh, that'll be Justin's gammy leg.
I'm thinking...
The darkness went up there!
OK, Death Watch Beetle. Is that what you thought? That would be my first thought.
No. I managed... You know when your mind, you know, just runs away? I suddenly realised...
When's yours coming back? It's been 2 years now. No phone call, no nothing. I'm worried sick.
I've put up posters.
I put a picture of your mind on a milk carton. Did anyone phone in? No.
Did Justin have his stage gear on?
I don't think... What is his stage gear now? I imagine an overall. I think he's probably on the meat counter at Sainsbury's.
Anyway, go on.
There was a clicking, and what my brain obviously, like honestly, decided was that there was someone outside who was trying to get in to kill me.
Oh my God!
And I got frightened.
You're my chair then. I just said that's my chair, not my spine. You were frightened. Genuinely
I was frightened. I honestly thought I had to get up, turn the light on, see what the clicking was. I was really terrified.
How did you think they were planning on killing you, though, just by clicking you to death?
Yeah, that would be terrible. If it was like some sort of ticket taker bloke who came in.
When were you last scared? That was
I'm not.
it. I didn't get murdered.
You said that was
the
it?
Story. I didn't get murdered. What do you think happened? I didn't get murdered, did I? I'm here.
I know, though, but I thought there was... What was the clicking?
Well, I thought there'd be some denouement.
I think it might have been the radiator.
Was.
I think it might have been the
It's
radiator.
some sort of anti-anecdote.
So, hang on, we've just had to hear how Gareth went to a horrible hotel somewhere outside of London, and the radiator was a bit noisy.
Oh, let's hear more about the BAFTAs. Everyone cares about famous... Oh, yeah,
yeah, but I mean, it wasn't exactly...
Dustin Hoffman was there.
It wasn't Shawshank Redemption, was it? You'll admit that. As stories go. I mean, as the narrative of that, I was in a hotel, there was some clicking. Anyway, what should we talk about now? I mean, for goodness sake, I feel like I was reaching a climax. Shut up.
Nothing ever happens. Nothing ever happens in my life. My life has no...
Yeah, I know it doesn't, but you did get very gathered by the fireside.
You did. I was cross-legged on the
floor.
So
was I. I had my hot chocolate with my marshmallows.
I mean, it wasn't deliberate. I just felt that way.
It was an emotional story. It was a story
a broken radiator?
We don't even know it was a radiator. I mean, any sort of clicking it could have been.
Well, when I got out in the morning...
Could have been. Was Heather Mills in the next room? Dancing.
When I went out in the morning, there was a murderer there falling asleep. With a big knife.
No, what you've done, you've added... People do that. They tell an anecdote, everyone just bored, and they start adding bits.
Oh, you can always tell the lie at the end.
A friend of mine always used to say at the end, and do you know that man was Robert Dougal? And he said he could save any anecdote. It's something he'd heard on the radio once. He put the radio on, he just heard the last bit of a show, and somebody said, and do you know that man was Robert Dougal? And he thought, I'm having that. And so you should have tried that on the end. We heard clicking, and I went outside, and do you know?
Go on.
Yeah, that man was Robert Dougal.
That's brilliant! Honestly, that's up there with Beowulf. So,
Scared in a hotel room at night. A novel by Beryl Bainbridge. I can't say it. Beryl Bainbridge. Beryl Bainbridge.
It's a good try. If you're going to steal my material, at least get it right.
Well, you always do the Robert Dougal thing.
Yeah.
You two,
Yeah.
stop it. We've had to
There is
endure
an
the radiator anecdote, and now we're just going to have arguing.
I had enough with Emily stealing my private Benjamin stuff.
Oh, my God.
Having a coffee. Well, that's the thing. There's a.
I think we better explain that.
Yeah,
I don't
do
know
you want to
alienate
explain,
people.
Gareth, what happened?
Well, we were having a coffee the other day, and Emily was wearing a nice khaki top.
Khaki top.
No, I mean she was wearing a khaki top.
Well, I know, yeah, but it was coloured khaki. And I think she had some khakis. It was all a very confusing ensemble. I say ensemble.
And Emily was saying
It was
that
military chic.
Can I just say that I so enjoyed saying that? Ensemble.
Oh, you should do my job. You get to say it every day.
I didn't know I could speak French.
Emily keeps telling us nudes.
So,
as well.
so
That's
Emily
why
said,
she's
oh,
not
this
wearing
is
any
very,
trousers.
like my look, it's very GI. And I
Yeah.
said, it's Private Benjamin. Do you know she took out a notebook and wrote that down?
So, I'm having that. I'm having that for the
she
magazine.
said. She didn't say, can I use that in my magazine? No. It was snatched from me.
And then you got all cross, and I said, as if you're going to use that when you do a gig.
Yeah. So, military colours are in. I said, a bit like Private Benjamin.
Skeeter. But that's been taken from me now. Well, good luck with it on Insta. I should be looking for it, and I should be... If I'm in a newsagent and I see that, I should say to people, actually, that's my line. Private Benjamin thing.
Well...
And relax. So, what else?
Oh, we're going to talk about Mr. Kipling.
Were we?
Yeah.
How did we get to that? What about Mr. Kipling?
Well, there was something to do with the TV
Been in the
advert.
papers. There's going to be a Mrs. Kipling.
Oh,
That's the shock, isn't it?
right.
Because, you
now.
know, we've never seen Mrs. Kipling, because there's always
Speak
been...
for yourself.
Well, there's always been that old fellow going...
No, you've never seen Mr. Kipling either.
Who's that man, then, who says, exceedingly good king?
Well, my
That's
friend
a
Mr.
mate.
Kipling
That's a
always
mate
used
of
to...
Mr. Kipling.
That's just a
Yeah,
supportive
he just
We
friend.
never hear from
Kipling.
Mr. Kipling ever.
Oh, okay.
I was sure that Mr. Kipling was an elderly bachelor. I didn't imagine him having a wife. Did
When
you?
you say bachelor.
He makes cakes.
Well, I know he makes cakes, but, you know, I think there are many, many very masculine men in the catering business. Look at Gordon Ramsay, for example. Or Marco Pierwitt.
Raymond Blanc.
Raymond Blanc.
Oh, stop name-dropping that one famous person you met.
Anyway... Yeah, so there's going to be
Frank
a Miss...
Skinner,
what will be the role of Mrs. Kipling? And when I say role, it's no
Big
joke
role.
intended.
I don't know what she's going to do. I guess she's
Well.
going to be making stuff.
Well, it's another fabulous story from our on-the-street reporter, Gareth Richards. Is there anything else you don't know that you want to talk to us about?
Lots.
I'm imagining she'll be a bit like... You know, Columbo used to say,
Oh, yeah.
My wife's a big fan of yours. And we never saw the wife ever. Actually, there was a spin-off series called Mrs. Columbo, which featured a very young, attractive woman, didn't look right for the Peter Falk character.
Yeah.
And they pulled it after 3 episodes.
I remember it well.
It wasn't a success. But,
Really?
and Ron
Is that
Pole...
true?
Yeah.
Wow.
Ron Pole of the Bailey,
Yeah.
who I think is a personal friend of Ben Jones. I could be wrong.
Was,
Ron Pole of the
was
Bailey.
that She Who Must Be Obeyed?
She Who Must
Yeah.
Be Obeyed, yeah. Or as I used to call my wife, She Who Must Be eBayed. But so there's been a few of these women in the background. I think there's probably... Did Morse have a mysterious wife?
Oh, I don't know. I never watched that.
Morse.
No, neither did I. I'm guessing it was rubbish. You know what I mean? I heard classical music and then somebody going, Lewis. And I thought, I'm not watching
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Robin.
Saw someone pull up in a Daimler. I can't be bothered with that.
No. Was it
Frost.
Daimler?
Frost
Yeah.
was just terribly alone, wasn't he? Jack Frost.
Who's that?
David Jason's private eye character, no detective character.
I like the fact that there's a man working in the police force on active duty who's 98. I think that's what's good about that programme. But, so, yes, Mrs. Kipling. Well, I'm glad we've got there. So, there you go, another story from that great yarn spinner, Gareth Bridges. Don't look at me like that, Gareth.
I do puns.
Go on then, give us a pun. Give us a Mrs. Kipling pun, just to close.
Well, I thought that, Wayne Bridge has been in the papers, and what's his girlfriend's name?
Vanessa Peroncel.
Yes,
and she's not his girlfriend anymore.
Vanessa Peroncel. I thought, imagine if her dad was in the news giving an interview, and he said, "Oh, Wayne Bridge is over her now," and the headline could be "Bridge over troubled daughter."
Oh.
Eh?
We're not going to top that.
No.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.